Well, guys, I guess this will be kind of part two, sort of, kind of. Uh, this leveling platform made for the stove cutter slash heat shield. Uh, got the framework all painted up for the last couple weeks there, and between work and whatnot. Trimmed off my little sheets that are squared off properly. I still got to rivet the one end on, but I got to do a little bit of measuring. But it's come time now where I got to pull the chimney down, and I already swept the outside chimney, but now I got to pull this here chimney down because that there pipe up top needs to be replaced, and now it's going to turn cold. It's kind of the last somewhat milder day, so I swept the outside chimney already, and now I just got to take this pipe off, sweep this little cross pipe over to the thimble the wall there, and get this stove picked up so I can get it under the crane so I can set it on the platform. I'll have to pull these cindercrete blocks out from underneath, and I think with any luck, if I just take out the two off each side, these four in the front and then two down the other side, I should be able to get my pallet jack underneath there, hopefully. Then I'll just pick it up and move it over there, and I'll take this pipe out. Like, there's nothing wrong with the bottom three sections of pipe, but I want to put a smoother elbow, 90-degree elbow on there, because that one with the ribs on it seems to slow the smoke down, and every now and then I get a little bit of a backdraft, but it seems to slow the smoke right down. And it builds up soot kind of right where that aluminum foil is. And right now the metal pipe, it's rotted right out already, so it collects moisture in the summer and stuff like that from the humidity and whatnot. But yeah, I knew it was about time because it was starting to get soft last year, so I just kind of patched it up with that. And it held, kind of surprised that the aluminum foil duct tape it actually held on pretty good. It's actually still hanging on, but yeah, you can feel that the metal behind is gone already. So it's time to change it, so I'm going to just kind of set you up here, time lapse, and I'll get this chimney off of here anyway, and then I'll take it outside and sweep it out and take it apart and whatnot. Hey, bring you back here in a bit. Hey guys, I got that part swept out now. It's been a kind of a mess thing, and yeah, you wonder why I don't want a wood stove in the house with all that soot dropping down. But I got to go back outside now and put the bottom of the cap on under the bottom of the chimney where the thimble comes through the wall, and then I'll take this thing outside, and I got to take this pipe apart. But yeah, since I kind of shook it all up there, yeah, it's got a lot of soot build up in there. But I think this here ribbed elbow has a lot to do with it. It slows the soot, the smoke down so much. It restricts your draft or whatever. It doesn't want to flow properly. So hopefully this is going to work. I guess because I got a 90-degree elbow here. I just got to set it up right, but at least it's a smooth inside instead of those ribs like that catch all the soot and whatnot. And I think that's where half my problem was. And then it comes around the corner and it drops all the soot right just on the inside here. But yeah, you can see like right in here, if I start pushing on it, yeah, it's pretty soft. If I go from that side, you can see it kind of poking through there. But yeah, anyways, so I'm going to change out this here 90 elbow and this here piece. Plus I'm going to extend it because I'm going to move the stove over a little bit too, about 6 inches away from that wall. Gives me a little bit better clearance, and then plus I want to set up some cinder blocks for kind of a heat sink to kind of retain more heat once the fire goes out. But yeah, I gotta split this pipe here. I put high temperature silicone on here because every now and then you get a little bit of smoke coming inside the shop here, and I don't like breathing that stuff in. So I found the high temperature silicone has been actually working pretty good. This is a copper stuff. On these top ones, they work fine. The very bottom one right above the stove, it starts to crumble over time. I gotta reapply it, a couple times, maybe once or twice throughout the winter, and pull this damper out. That's why I gotta split it here. Pull this damper out, clean it. But otherwise, these bottom 3 sections of pipe are good. And then we'll start getting set up after that. Like once I clean that pipe, I'll do that off camera. Then I gotta set up and rivet down the one panel on this end. Take some measurements because I got some bolt holes. But yeah, at least I'll hang the stove from the crane. A little bit easier to set it up. My engine hoist doesn't have wide enough feet to get around it. So, but at least with the pallet jack, I should be able to get around those 2 bricks anyway. Hopefully. We'll find out here shortly anyway. Okay, I'm going to go in to get these pipes cleaned out and go cap that pipe on the outside because it's already getting later on. I got this construction heater going. Whoops, kind of shut you guys off. So go get this stuff done off camera, and I'll go and because I got the construction heater going, so I'm kind of committed now. So it won't take me long to get that cleaned out. So at least then all the outside stuff is done, and I just got to worry about setting up the inside. And like I said, I got to just take some measurements because the stove is the right distance from that wall, but I got to move it 6 inches away from that wall. Like I said, I like having I got the drying rack for my wood sits there, but I want to stack up some of those I got a bunch of cinder grid blocks, put them on each side of the stove and see if that helps to actually retain any heat. Because I know when I got my drying rack for the firewood, it actually, when the fire goes out, it actually seemed to have about an extra hour or so of heat retention in that corner. So if you're a stack of cinder blocks there, it should kind of help with that. I don't want to have mortared stones, and that would be the ideal, but otherwise, yeah, my metal heat shield against the wall there, like that works pretty good. That's one of the best things because it gets pretty warm, even though they got minimum specifications for how far to keep away from the wall. But I got lots of room here. But this here metal cladding gets hot, but I got basically the metal 2 by 3.5. They call it the 2x4 stud. But I used the metal studs against the metal cladding, and then put some leftover metal cladding in front of that, and that does wonders for keeping that heat off the wall. You definitely don't want to start a fire anyway. But so yeah, I'm gonna go get those pipes cleaned up, and I'll bring you guys back. I'll do that off camera, and I'll bring it back when I start setting up that platform. Well guys, I got the one panel riveted on. I got it centered and whatnot, and just check and make sure I had the clearance, and just kind of drilled the holes. So I got to rivet this other panel on, and I drilled the holes in the bottom of my stove there on the base. And so now I just got to basically get that chunk of panel riveted down, and then we'll put the stove back on it, and then I'm gonna have to mark the holes so I can get right through the panel into the tubing, because it should kind of come in right in through here, about 1/4 inch from the edge there. So as long as my measurements are right, I just kind of stuck a punch in there and checked it for clearance, and Yeah, I just have to get this riveted on, and it's taking a little longer than I expected, so I got to run on my construction heater to keep it warm in here right now. So just kind of on standby type thing, but we'll get her done anyway. Like I said, I cleaned up the chimney things there, and cleaned everything all out, and cleaned the damper off and all that stuff, and cleaned the other pipe. Did that all off camera there. Like, didn't think you guys need to really watch me cleaning pipes out, especially out in the snowbank there, because I just set them on an old tractor tire there so I can brush them out, and don't want to do that stuff in here because the boys would make a mess. But anyways, okay, I'll set you guys up here. I'll get a couple rivets in, and then I'll put you on time lapse. Just got to make sure I put this panel on the right direction. I put a little arrow that's going to go underneath the stove here, because when I kind of sanded these edges down so I had a real decent fit. Yeah, so basically now we just got to start riveting the thing together. Rivets are kind of a tight fit, so where did I put my little tray here for my nails? Better get the other side done before I move on, otherwise I may end up be a little out of kilter or something. Just wanted to make sure he's, like when I first drilled the holes, I just used Clecos, so that now they kind of stay put, and definitely works when you're doing dealing with sheet metal, stuff like that. I think the one rivet I put in the far end, I think it must have been an aluminum rivet. It didn't seem to pound in quite as hard. Because it didn't take as much to snap it anyway. Well, at least I have one soft rivet in the corner if it is a problem. At least it'll come out the bottom side here anyway. But I don't think it'll be a problem anyway. It's not like it's going to get hooked on stuff. But if it is, I can at least drill it out. It's right on the edge there anyway, so that shouldn't be a real issue. Well, I'm going to put you guys on time lapse here, and I'll finish putting these few rivets in, and I'll get the thing, the stove back on there, and have to mark the holes and take it back off, drill it, and then tap the holes. There you guys, got the stove mounted back up on top the leveling platform, and now we just gotta get the thing where it kind of lines up here. Let's see, I gotta move it over just a hair. Well, at least on the upside, I get the bolts to fit in there. Looks like I gotta shift it over just a little bit. And I think I need a rubber hammer here. Apparently misplaced my new one, but that's okay. pretty darn close anyway. I don't think anybody's going to notice a 64th of an inch. Well, I guess that'll do her. Let's tighten her up here and it doesn't have to be extremely tight, just enough to keep it from slipping around on me when I move it. Alright, there we have her. So we got the thing all mounted on there anyway, so I just kind of did a little tiny where the seam is. Keep ashes and stuff for getting inside. I just did that little bit of just an overlap, you know, that 1/8 of an inch. And then plus it covers up the other rivets, but it just keeps ashes from sitting down inside there, at least when I go to clean it and whatnot. But yeah, so here's my little leveling feet, and so now he's got to go park back in the corner and start leveling it out. Well, I'm going to take a bit of a break, and I'll bring you back once I start getting it set up there. Okay guys, I finally got this thing kind of plunked in the corner here. So now I just got to level the thing. I got it kind of positioned where I want it. So the pipe on the one side matches up, but I just wanted to bring it out from the wall on the right side here. I just wanted to bring it back this way a little bit, just to give a little bit more airspace on that side. But yeah, so I just got to crank up my adjusters here a little bit because it's sitting a little on the low side. Because these blocks I was sitting on is 5 5/8, and then with that new piece of pipe, that elbow, it's going to be about 1/2 inch lower, so I want to kind of have that same angle. So I just got to crank her up a little bit more and kind of get it adjusted up. Yeah. Yes, now he's got to go over the other side. Not that bad. It's pretty level because this front part here has got just a slight little wow in it because I got a here when I welded the center legs, which doesn't matter. I got a gap in there right now, but so that's why I was basing it on the where the stove is actually sitting. This is just an extension. Well, it's pretty level, I think. So, actually, I think I'm gonna rearrange my little rubber blocks here a little bit. They kind of slipped off to the side. There, it doesn't rock at all. It's pretty balanced now. It's level from side to side. Front to back is level. And put these other little rubber, ice layers or no skid pads over a little bit here. Just double check the level from front to back here. Okay, that's good. Okay. Yep, I would think that's pretty darn level now, so I'm just gonna lock those bolts in. That way you don't get unadjusted again. I'll put the pressure on the center leg now. This is more just to take up a little bit of pressure, but not actually hold the thing level. Just tighten up the other side now, and it'll be all leveled. Alright, so now I got it all leveled, and here you can see where he's got the little jam nut underneath there, but so I got a little extra gap in there to kind of makes up for the difference in the height of the elbow. And now I just gotta work on getting this pipe put back up, and then it'll be done. Yeah, I'll bring you back when I start putting the pipe together. Okay guys, I got this new chunk of pipe set up. Like I said, I have to replace this one piece of pipe there, because it's kind of partially rotted through, but now I moved the stove, I gotta make it longer anyway, but I need to replace it anyhow. So yeah, I measured it off to where because I took the measurement of where the pipe was situated before, so the one side doesn't change, but this here when I moved a little bit farther away from the wall. So I just added on 2.5 inches to that one to make up for the extra distance from the wall, plus I turned the stove a little bit. So yeah, I'm just gonna cut it off. I need to get myself one of those crimpers that do these crimps, because otherwise I always end up with a chunk of pipe. Yes, I can get shorter pipes, but can't get them in the length I need. But a lot of times I have a use for these other pipes if I can just, like I priced them out, and they're about $50 for one of those little crimpers. You can just go along and crimp it in and recreate those crimps for these for HVAC and chimney pipes. So I think that's another tool that's going to be in order soon. Okay, so I'm going to cut this thing off here. There we go. I'm just gonna just set this up on the grinder here and or on the wire wheel, and I'm just gonna kind of just deburr it a little bit. Don't need to be cutting the fingers that badly. Alright, that sure saves on the slicing and dicing the fingers anyway, when you go to put it all together. So now we got that piece of pipe in place and her cut off, and yeah, I'll just set the other one off to the side here, and then I'm going to start, I haven't quite figured out this part yet. I just got to lay it flat, put the one pipe on, I'll lay it flat on the floor, and to get my 90 degrees, and then I'm not 100% sure how I'm gonna, because I seen one of these elbows in the store. I don't know if you guys can see that, but how it wants to split apart, and if you tug on it, it will come apart. And I was gonna drill some little holes, put some rivets in there, but I think I may use my little spot welder just because I'm going to put a bead of silicone on all these seams to keep the smoke from coming out. But I think it may be spot weld, because once I got it set to my 90, and hopefully the flue gases are going to flow a whole lot smoother through this here pipe versus all those extra ribs. Okay, so I'll bring it back when I kind of get some of these pieces together here. I'll show you how it's coming along. I guess I gotta go up there and take my coffee can off of the pipe there and get this thing fitted up here now. Guess I better put my little safety block on there so the ladder doesn't slip on me. Okay, we're going to see if I can get this thing propped up. I got the 3 sections back together here. Oh, guess I'll have to set it up there. Hopefully that thing just stays put. I think I'm just going to put one screw in it for the time being, just so it doesn't fall over on me. Maybe. Apparently that's the wrong screw for that one. Hold on a sec. long as it kind of stays put for me for now. I just got to get this here pipe on there so I can mark it off with my tape marker, and I guess better remark this thing too for my just makes it easier having the alignment set up after the fact. But yeah, he's gonna set this into place and see how this works out for me. Okay. This way I'll be able to put a paint mark on there and just gotta find my level here. it's level that way, so well, I think I'm going to mark it where it is, just so I know where to put the screw holes, and so I'm just going to put a little peak mark on there. I'll take it down, because I think I want to spot weld those seams up on right up on that elbow there, because it wants to pivot around too much. So I just got to mark it off on the back side, and then I'll just take it back down, and now I can put it together, put the screws in, because it's easier on the floor, because the other three sections down, these three sections here, they're all screwed together already, so I just need to deal with that elbow so it doesn't keep pivoting on me. And so I'm just going to go and mark that all off, so I know where to spot weld and which position to be in. And otherwise, yeah, the pipe's level, and it's kind of good to go there. So I'm just going to go mark it off, and it'll break her back down. I'll do that off camera, and then I'll put it on time lapse after when I'm setting it up. Hey guys, kind of decided what I was going to do with this here. If you're going to try out my little trusty little Parfit spot welder here, and apparently it's working. It's kind of holding, but I just want to make sure this thing doesn't pull apart, because you got to figure it's not the greatest seams in this thing. So I'm just gonna kind of I just gotta spin it a bit, and it doesn't take much to get this thing spot welded in anyway. I think it's a whole lot better, because trying to drill holes on these little rounded edges is kind of a pain. Yeah, I just took my old tips, I kind of sharpened them up so they get inside on the groove on the inside here. Yeah, I'm just gonna get this thing spot welded up here, and I'm still going to put some silicone on there just to seal it up, but at least this will keep it from spinning on me and wiggling around. And possibly, because like I said, I looked at one of these elbows in the store, and somebody tried to give it a spin, and it fell apart, and then I tried to put it back together, and you couldn't put it back together again, so I figured better. I don't want it to pull apart and have that issue. So I figured this is kind of a simple way to. I just wish I could get in on this one seam here. No, that's not going to happen. I'd like to get one right on the top here, but I don't have enough reach with this thing. Oh well. I guess as long as I do the sides and the rest of it, I think it should be fine. At least on the upside, you even hardly notice that it's, well, considering they got little rivets where the seams join, but that's why they keep falling apart, because they didn't drill the holes exactly in the right spots, or a loose fit. But no, this here definitely works for what I need it for anyway. I think she'll, yeah, because it doesn't want to spin anymore, so yeah, I think I'll just Yeah, it definitely works, that's for sure. Well, I'm thinking that's going to do it, so guess I'll shut this thing off, unplug it. Oh, I think it's pretty warm pretty fast in here, so. But anyways, I'll get you guys set up on time lapse here, and I'm going to put the rest of the panel or the pipes together here. I'll drill it out and put screws in there. Hey, bring you back in a sec on time lapse. Hey guys, well, apparently got her all done now, so at least now it, like it's a pain in the butt trying to get that all screws put in on the ladder, because when I originally set the stove up, I was using scaffolding, so it was a whole lot easier, something more stable to stand on. But I figured, well, if I set it up and just mark my lines there, because that'll burn off when I get the stove fired up. So all I got left to do now is I just gotta put a little bit of silicone, because you get these little gaps around here, and smoke tends to come out. We get a little bit of a backdraft, depends which way the wind's blowing from. And but yeah, otherwise I just gotta silicone up that seam, that one, and up around that elbow, and then right at the chimney connection. It just prevents, because I've had like, I know a lot of people say, oh, you don't have to do it, but I just find every now and then you get the wind changes direction, and just for the fact I got the thimble through the wall, I don't know if that makes a difference instead of straight through the ceiling, but I just find I don't have to worry about a leaky roof this way. But yeah, it just seems like if I get like a north wind, sometimes I'll get a downdraft, but if I got an east wind or west wind, yeah, you get all kinds of flue draft on there. But yeah, I just put a little bit of high temp silicone on there, and it seals it up. Like I said, I was using the copper stuff. The bottom one would kind of, I'd have to redo it maybe twice through the season, but otherwise, for the most part, she's done. So I just gotta spend a few minutes. I'll silicone that. I'll do that off camera. But otherwise, it's all done, ready to roll. Oh, excuse me. But anyways, yeah, because it's supposed to drop down to minus 24, feel like minus 34 tonight. So I want to get the stove fired up here and get some heat back in here, because I've been using my construction heater. I don't need to really suck the power bill for no reason when I got a wood stove here. But yeah, just too busy doing other stuff. So haven't had a whole bunch of time for doing a bunch of videoing, and hopefully I can get onto some better stuff here in the near future. And you know, just about, you know, almost 100 subscribers. So you know, for the guys that have already subscribed, thank you very much. And if you guys like this kind of content, you know, just fixing stuff or building stuff like that, well, eventually I'll be doing all different kinds of things over time and whatnot. But yeah, keep checking back with the channel and see what I got going on. And thanks for watching. We'll catch you guys on the next one. Yeah, I thought I'd just kind of throw this in at the end here. Got it all siliconed up and finished up, and let it sit for a few hours and kind of set up. And And got a fire going, and I figured, well, I got all these cindercrete blocks sitting around. So I figured, I'm just going to put a stack on either side of the stove and kind of act like kind of a big heat sink. And what I did find, however, is once the fire died out, like come morning, the shop was actually about 5 degrees warmer, considering it was actually colder last night. And it's been previous days, and the shop itself is about five degrees warmer after about the same time frame. So I'm thinking what's happening, because I know after the fire's been going for a while, the bricks get pretty warm, and they just sort of dissipate heat throughout the rest of the night once the fire dies out. But I'm gonna see how this works over the winter and try to keep the shop a little bit warmer to, make it more comfortable. I got some couple cheap insulated tarps I'm gonna hang over the big shop door here too. And yeah, it's an R16 door, but when it's 12 by 16, and it's on the north side of the shop, so it tends to kind of get cold along that door, and I find it bows. I'm gonna kind of hang up these 10 by 12 insulated tarps on it and see if I can't keep it a little bit warmer in here. Like right now, if I keep the fire going, I got no problem getting it up to 80 degrees in here, whatever that works out to. Yeah, 26, 27 degrees. There we go. So even right now it's sitting about 24, but it's also kind of close to the door here too. But yeah, it's comfortable anyway. But yeah, I'll see how this here pans out over the course of the winter when it gets out to the minus 35s and stuff like that. But yeah, these little fans, boy, they do wonders for keeping that air circulating. And without those, then like I do got the ceiling fan. That's what I was using to start with, and the stove itself has a fan. But if you forget about it, then it cools the stove down too much. Whereas this here, when the fire dies out, the fans quit turning and doesn't use any power. If the power is out, well, it still keeps the fire from overburning anyway. But yes, definitely nice and toasty warm in this corner right now anyway. But anyways, I just thought I'd throw this in at the end here, and thanks for watching anyway. Catch you guys on the next one.